how to make your ideas feel like undeniable truths using the repetition engine. Last time we built the relationship, today we shape the belief. We explored the neuroscience of how your viewers form a genuine bond of trust with you, a bond that can be more fulfilling than their real-life relationships. That trust is the foundation, it's the fertile ground, but today we're going to plant a seed in that ground. We're going to activate the second engine, the repetition engine. Think of a phrase right now, any phrase that you have heard over and over again, right? Your offer determines your need. Content is a commodity, but context is king. Show your work, right? Do you just understand that phrase or do you believe it? Does it feel true, like a fundamental law of your industry? Like something that was always true and you just needed someone to point it out to you? That feeling, that sense of self-evident truth is not an accident. It was engineered. It is the product of cognitive bias. This is so powerful, so persuasive, and so unsettling that it has been studied by psychologists for over 40 years. It is called the illusory truth effect. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how it works, why it is the secret weapon behind every dominant personal brand, and how you can use it to ethically make your core message feel like an undeniable truth to your audience. How does familiarity become truth? The illusory effect is one of the most robust findings in all of cognitive psychology. It was first formally documented in 1977 study by Lynn Hasher, David Goldstein, and Thomas T. The experiment was elegant in its simplicity, right? They had participants read a list of 60 statements, some true and some false. Weeks later, they brought the participants back and presented them with a mix of old and new statements. They asked one question: how true does each statement feel? Statements that participants had seen before were consistently rated as more true than statements they were seeing for the first time. This was true even for the false statements. The simple act of having been exposed to a statement made it feel more true, not because the participants evaluated the evidence, not because they thought about it logically, but simply because it was familiar. When your brain encounters information it has seen or heard before, it processes that information more easily. There's less cognitive friction, it flows. And your brain interprets that ease of processing as a signal of truth. It feels right, so it must be right. This is called processing fluency. Familiarity equals truth. This is a survival mechanism. In our evolutionary past, familiar things were generally safe things. The familiar path through the forest did not have a predator on it last time. The familiar plant did not make you sick. Your brain is hardwired to prefer the familiar, to trust the familiar, and to believe the familiar. That ancient wiring is being activated every single time your viewer watches one of your videos and hears your core message. It is a cognitive shortcut that your brain uses millions of times a day without you even noticing it. Follow-up studies on the illusory truth effect discovered a phenomenon called knowledge neglect. Researchers found that repetition can make a false statement feel true, even when the person knows the correct answer. Even when someone has the correct facts stored in their memory, the feeling of truth generated by processing fluency, how easy something feels to understand, recognize, or recall, can be so powerful that it overrides their actual knowledge. They know the right answer, but the repeated statement feels more true. This is the psychological mechanism behind propaganda. It is the mechanism behind misinformation campaigns. It is the reason advertising jingles get stuck in your head and why brand slogans become self-evident truths over time. This mechanism is running on your YouTube channel right now, whether you are using it intentionally or not. Every time you repeat a phrase, a framework, a way of seeing the world, you're making it feel more true to your audience. The question is not whether you are using the repetition engine. The question is whether you are using it on purpose. The same mechanism that makes propaganda dangerous is what makes great education stick. The difference is intent and truth. If your core message is true, if your frameworks genuinely help people, if your methodology gets results, then using repetition to help your audience internalize that message is not manipulation, it is good teaching. Think about the best teacher you ever had, right? They didn't just say something once and move on. They repeated their core ideas in different ways, with different examples across multiple lessons. They made their ideas familiar, easy to process, and ultimately feel true. This is what great teachers do, and this is what we're doing here. So how do we do this systematically? How do we repeat our message without being repetitive? Here's a framework called the message architecture. It has 3 levels, and once you build it, it will transform your content calendar from a list of random topics into a strategic belief building machine. Okay, we have level 3, level 2, level 1. Your core philosophy is the single unshakable belief that pins everything you do. It is your grand contrarian take on your industry. It is the one sentence you want to own in the mind of your audience. For me, it is, YouTube is a trust-building machine, not a platform. This phrase should appear word for word in at least every other video you publish, not buried in the middle, stated clearly, confidently, as if it is the most obvious truth in the world, because after they have heard it 20 times, it will be. Your core pillars are 3 to 5 supporting truths that hold up your core philosophy. They are the chapters of your book, the modules of your course, the pillars of your worldview. Each pillar should have a name, should have dedicated videos, should be referenced in your other videos when you say, as we talked about in our video on the parasocial engine, you're creating a web of interconnected content and repeating the name of the concept of that pillar, making it more familiar and more true with every mention. Your talking points, stories, and case studies. This is where variety lives. For each of your pillars, you should have a growing collection of talking points, statistics, case studies, and personal stories that illustrate and prove it. You can tell a different story in every single video, but each story is a demonstration of one of your core pillars, which in turn reinforces your core philosophy. The core message stays the same. The delivery changes every time. You're painting the same picture, but with a different brush in every video. This is what I talk about when I discuss the power of client interviews. How would this look in real life, okay? A business strategist whose core philosophy is your business model is your marketing strategy. So that's her level 1. She says it in every video. It's her channel trailer. It's in her email signature. It's in the lens through which she sees everything. Her 3 level 2 pillars are offer design, audience alignment, and delivery systems. Every video she publishes maps to one of these 3 pillars. So the video topic might be pricing strategy, but that falls under the offer design pillar. A video topic might be ideal client avatars, right? That's audience alignment. Onboarding systems, that's delivery systems. Revenue model design, that's offer design. Community building, that's audience alignment. With each video, she uses level 3 content, right? A specific case study, a personal story, a data point that illustrates this specific pillar. But she always brings it back. She always says, this is why I always say your business model is your marketing strategy. After watching 5 or 6 of her videos, her viewers do not just understand her philosophy, they believe it. They have adopted it as their own worldview. And when they are ready to hire a strategist, there is only one person they can imagine hiring because her way of thinking is now their way of thinking, and that is the repetition engine at full power. In the 1880s, German psychologist Hermann E. discovered what is now called the forgetting curve. He found that after a single exposure to new information, we forget approximately 70% of it within 24 hours. Within a week, we have lost nearly 90%. But each time the information is repeated, the forgetting curve flattens. The information sticks longer. After enough repetitions spaced out over time, the information becomes easily permanent. But consistent, weekly content, each reinforcing the same core message, creates a compounding effect. Each video resets the forgetting curve. Each video makes your message stickier, more familiar, and more true. This is the repetition engine working in concert with the parasocial engine. Your consistent presence builds the relationship. Your consistent message builds the belief. Together they create something that a single viral moment never could. Permanent, deep, unshakable trust in you and your ideas. When these 2 engines run together, the illusory truth effect is powerful. But research has shown that it is significantly more powerful when the repeated statement comes from a trusted source. When a stranger tells you something 10 times, you might start to believe it. But when a friend tells you something 10 times, you almost certainly believe it. The trust you have built through the parasocial engine acts as a massive amplifier for the repetition engine, and it works in reverse too. As your audience adopts your beliefs, as your way of thinking becomes their way of thinking, the bond deepens. They do not just trust you as a person anymore, they trust you as a thinker, as a leader, as someone who sees the world the way they see it. The parasocial engine builds the relationship. Your consistent presence makes viewers feel like they know, like, and trust you as a person. The repetition engine shapes the belief. Your consistent message makes your worldview feel familiar, true, and self-evident to your audience. Your competitors are busy chasing views, trying to get strangers to watch their content, while you are building a relationship with a focused group of people and systematically shaping their belief system. They are playing checkers, you're playing chess. Write down your level 1 core philosophy. This is the single unshakable belief that underpins everything that you do. Define your level 2 pillars, right? 3 to 5 supporting pillars that hold up your core truth. Then, map your next video. Identify which pillar it serves and what level 3 story or talking point you're going to use. Then, go and audit your last 10 videos. How many of them reinforce your core philosophy? How many of them even mention it? If the answer is less than half, you've been making content, but you haven't been building a belief system. And now, you know the difference. We have now activated 2 of the 3 engines. We have built the relationship, we have shaped the belief, but there's one more layer that makes your message not just familiar and true, but also irresistible. In the next video, we're going to activate the 3rd and final engine, the hypnotic engine. We're going to break down the specific linguistic patterns from the fields of clinical hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming that you can weave into your scripts to bypass conscious resistance and speak directly to the decision-making part of your viewer's brain. Pacing and leading, embedded commands, presuppositions, and future pacing is the final piece of the puzzle, and it's the one that turns viewers into clients. I'll see you in episode 4.